Welcome to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live uncommon sense parenting class. How is everyone today? It has been a busy day around here. My boys had their French class this morning, which is actually going rather well. My little one isn't retaining a damn thing, but the big one seems to be, which is lovely to see. So we did that. Then I had a call with a new client, and now we're here. Honestly, that is more commitments than I've had one right after the other in 6 months, which is crazy, right? I've gotten very much used to the slower pace that COVID has afforded us, that's for sure. All right, before we get into it today, allow me to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Allana Robinson. I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or timeouts. I'm your host here on the MudRoom. I also host the Parenting Posse, which is my free peer support Facebook group, and I'm the creator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids of your own. If you're watching, say hi, let me know how you're doing today. If you're catching the replay, drop me a replay in the comments. And if you enjoy this video, it would do me a real solid if you would like it and subscribe so that you never miss another class. Hey, Nicola! All right, so today we're talking about taking it easy. Not like kicking back with a marg on a beach kind of easy, although heaven knows we could all benefit from that right now. But what we're when we're working on our children's behavior, when we're teaching them something new, spending ample amount of time on the basics, on the quote-unquote easy stuff, on the stuff that is all too easy to speed through so you get caught up in the flashier, more advanced stuff. Hey Jenny, hey Jade, hey Shelly. Often when I'm working with new clients, I get a lot of pushback at first because what I'm asking them to do feels quote-unquote too easy. Many of the activities and strategies that I suggest to parents are actually very simple. They're not rocket science by any means. And recently we actually modified Parentability so that it forces new members to spend some serious time on the foundational stuff, because what was happening was that new members would come in and then they'd get shiny object syndrome and they'd start sifting through the massive amount of neat resources that we have in there. And then they'd get overwhelmed and they would get stuck. And it became a problem. So we changed it so that you can't do that anymore. You have to give the foundation its due before you can move on now. And I made this change because I was reminded of it by a mentor of mine. And she is married to an elite sports coach. Her husband trained Olympic athletes for Canada. And something that she always was and is always hammering home was that the hard stuff is made up of the easy stuff. Okay? Think of being a master at something, literally anything. Like a billion frame. You know how in math you have 5 frames and 10 frames and 20 frames? Well, if a billion frame is mastery, it's made up of all those smaller frames many times over. Even something like a 10 frame is made up of 2 5 frames. A 20 frame is made up of either 2 10 frames or 4 5 frames. So in order to master the big hard stuff, we need to be really, really proficient at doing the small, easy stuff over and over and over again. In terms of athletes, this is why athletes do the same drills over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's a quote that I'm sure many Canadians will know from Walt Gretzky, who is Wayne Gretzky's father, that goes, skate, 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 skate. Put your fucking stick down and skate. Because their ability to score that goal, to do that flip, to land that jump, or to run that distance is made up of doing small, simple things over and over and over again with a very high degree of competence. And that's the key here. The ability to maintain competence at something over a longer period of time. almost anybody can use all their energy and skill at doing something once, right? For me, this makes me think of when I was a kid and we had track and field day and you had to sign up for one event in each category. So as someone who is wildly unathletic, I was always keeping an eye on what events I could make a solid single effort at. The 100-meter dash, shot put, long jump, those were like my bread and butter, right? I could make a solid single effort at any one of those things. And to my utter amazement, sometimes I even won a heat. But that was my worst nightmare. I hated winning. Because that meant I had to do it again. And after trying once, I was done. I was so done. I couldn't replicate that at all. And if I won a heat, I generally completely fail at the next one as a result, because my ability to maintain competence at athletics of any kind is really nil. I haven't mastered the basics. I'm not even mildly passable at the basics. So I can try really, really, really hard and use all of my focus and all of my energy to do it once, but then I'm out. And that's what Walt Gretzky was getting at. Your puck handling and your fancy plays mean nothing if you can't skate. Skating is the foundation of hockey. If you're a crap skater, you can't play at a high level. So you need to be focused on skating first, not on all the mechanics of the game. The same concept applies to children using their executive functioning skills and their self-regulation skills. This is why we have restraint collapse after daycare or preschool or school. This is why your child can behave at daycare, but when they come home, they lose their cool and they can't even remain mildly civil anymore, because they put all of their energy and focus and effort into using those skills with strangers. And with kids, the difficulty just naturally keeps getting bumped up as they age. Our expectations of them keep getting higher and higher. But we haven't helped them master those basic skills that make up the behaviors that we expect to see in those situations. I hear all the time from parents, I'm just hoping that they'll grow out of it. Which is basically the parenting equivalent of saying, I just hope that they figure it out. But the research that we have shows that they generally don't. They just keep getting further and further and further behind, which means that they're using more and more energy to do less and less. And this is why we have these school-age children whose behaviors are just completely overwhelming and dangerous and uncontrollable, because they're trying to meet the demands being put on a 7-year-old with the same skills and at the same proficiency level as they had when they were 2 or 3. It's like throwing a toddler into a grade 1 class. That's not going to work. And then they get further behind as they struggle to catch up. It's exhausting. It's exhausting for your child, it's exhausting for you, and it's exhausting for everyone who is involved in your child's care. So what we really need to be focusing on when they're young, when they're toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners, before the focus of their day-to-day lives switches to academics, is helping them master these skills, giving them that solid foundation, practicing the mechanics of them over and over and over and over and over again until they become second nature. Exactly the same way that athletes do basic drills over and over and over again until they can literally do them blindfolded and half asleep. So that the bigger, more advanced stuff that is built off of those basics, or by doing those basics in rapid succession, is actually possible. And it's possible with a high degree of competency over a long period of time, so that they can behave all day at school, and then they come home and they can still be civil and calm in the evening with you, so that they can go to a birthday party and they can ride out that conflict with a peer over, who's using the green controller while playing video games. So that when they join Girl Scouts or Girl Guides or dance or a team sport after school, they enjoy it. They aren't just existing in a zombie state trying to hold it together. It's this repetition of the easy things that results in those amazing outcomes. These kids that are polite and easy to get along with and listen and wait their turn, that doesn't just happen. It's something that they can practice and get better at. But if you don't know what those skills are that make up the more advanced behaviors, it can feel completely overwhelming and unachievable. And that's where I come in. This is literally why I am a parenting coach. Okay? I give you the drills and the plays. We don't call them drills and plays when it comes to parenting. We call them activities and games and strategies. But it's the same thing. I help you make a plan to practice and improve where your child needs it the most. I'm that outside perspective on what is working and what isn't, and where the best use of your energy is, so that you can parent more efficiently. Your energy is going into the things that are going to make the biggest difference for your child long term. And you don't have to guess at what those things are and just hope that you get it right, because I have tools that I have used and developed over the last 15 years of working with children and their families that can guide you. And combined with the concept that we talked about last week of practicing for small, manageable chunks, but every single day, you're going to find that parenting just gets a lot easier really quickly. So if you want to learn more about what exactly these skills are that I'm on about and how they all work together to solve challenging behavior, that is something that I can and do talk for hours about. So I've put it all together in my free workshop, How to Raise Well-Behaved Kids Without Yelling, Shaming, or Timeouts. It's about an hour long, and classes run several times a day, so you can always find a time that works well for you. If you'd like to register, the link should be up in the description, as well as a link for the Parenting Posse, which is my free peer support Facebook group, and it's a great spot to continue this conversation. So what do you think? Okay, does that make sense? That more advanced behaviors are made up of the small, easier skills done really well, really frequently? Does that change your perspective on how you're disciplining your kids? This is one of those areas where more doesn't actually equal better. Harder doesn't actually equal stronger. And I know that that's terrifying for some parents because you're used to kind of strong-arming your way through difficult things and winning through sheer effort alone. But when it comes to kids, all that really does is lead to burnout. It's going to lead to a lot of tears, and it's not actually going to put you ahead. Okay? That's it for me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week for another Uncommon Sense Parenting class. Bye.